Welcome to Only Ghosts in the Building. This is your host, Emily Claire.
And Karen Lynn.
And we're here with...
Trey Bader.
Yay!
Yay! And our video is looking good.
Let's go.
We got it.
It's good.
And then I don't know how the boys, when they come in, it's going to be, but we'll see.
Is it a video call?
It is.
Okay.
So if they have it, they'll get set up. Like when Nick was on, he didn't turn on his camera,
Okay.
so it was just voice. So
it can be either way.
Yeah.
So, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Really?
It's been a long time coming, huh?
Yeah, it has been.
Been
We're
talking
so
about it.
excited.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we've known you for a few months. Met you kind of through My Haunted Manor, really.
Yeah.
But kind of we have a connection outside of that as well.
Which was
Surprise
kind of fun,
paranormal type of thing. But you've been doing paranormal stuff for a while, right?
Yeah, it's been about 5 years, I would say. I've
5
been
years
doing
you've
this.
been doing it. So what do you do in real life, and how did you get started in the paranormal?
Yeah, so in real life, I work at Siemens Healthineers, off 896 for those of you that are in Delaware. I work in safety, so I do a lot of safety inspections, contractor trainings, and stuff like that. I'm also in charge of all the hazardous waste that's generated on site. How I got into paranormal, though, kind of grew up with it. My brother Jeff, my mom, my sister.
Is he your older brother?
Yeah. He was 16 when I was born.
Oh gosh, yeah, way older.
Big jump.
I was a mistake. I was definitely a mistake.
You were
I wasn't playing.
an afterthought.
It was the last call on the uterus.
Yeah,
That's what I call it.
I was a buzzer beater. I made it just in time.
Yeah, mine too. Oh, Daryl's in the lobby.
Daryl's here.
Yeah.
Hey, Daryl, can you hear us okay?
Oh,
Yeah, we can hear you. Awesome.
good.
What's up, Daryl?
Yeah, what's up, brother?
You see me?
Yeah.
Ah, cool. I can't see
That's
you.
neat. Okay.
Yeah, we have this whole little owl thing. It's very strange, but it's like a 360 camera, and so it has all of us in together.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, it looks pretty
Yeah.
cool.
That's
Yeah.
cool, man. I like it.
Okay, so anyway, cheers.
Cheers. Didn't see any ladies.
Water bottle.
Cheers, Daryl.
So we were actually just getting started, and Trey was telling us a little bit about his background, which we'll get to everybody. I'd like to know everything about everybody on how they got started into this madness that's called paranormal.
For sure.
So
Yeah, so where was I?
So Jeff was doing stuff, and then
Jeff, your much older brother was
not
into.
that much.
So the first house we lived in, up until I was about 2 or 3, we lived up, it was on Linden Street in Wilmington. I don't know.
Okay, I
Okay.
know where that is.
Super haunted house, apparently.
Wilmington is haunted. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. I've met so many people that have stories around here. So
Yeah, there's a lot of haunted areas.
Yep.
So, was the house old? Is that, did you?
Honestly, my mom, I think, told me the history of it a little bit, but that was years ago. I forget about it. But I know they had a lot of experiences there. My mom, my sister, my brother. My dad wasn't really as much into it. Like I don't know if he ignored it or nothing happened to him. But they all got super into it. But my mom was into it before that. And then I just kind of grew up with them.
Yeah.
Now being interested, watching all the shows. And then 2020, when COVID happened, I had all this free time. I'm sitting in the house, and I was like, it'd be cool to look into joining a team,
Yeah.
like a Delaware team.
Right.
That's when I hit up Daryl. That was the first time I talked to Daryl.
Okay, so
Oh,
you
okay.
met Daryl through DSGI?
no,
Mass.
before
Right.
Before DSGI. Okay.
So I had watched new A&E Ghost Hunters, brand new, Daryl Marston with Grant Wilson. I see
Okay.
Daryl Marston's from Delaware. I was like, let me hit this guy up, see what he knows, see if he even responds.
And you did.
And I was just like, is there any teams, you might recommend? I'm looking into getting a team in Delaware. And we talked, and I brought up DSGI, and he was like, yeah, I've heard great things about them. I reached out and got in, and here we are.
So the first time we met Daryl was at Fort Delaware for the first
Yeah, the
guest
first
ghost tour of
ghost tour of the season.
last fall.
Last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
And-
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All of us were there at the same time.
Yes,
because,
you guys were
That was the
there.
first time I met him.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Look at us. Now we're here.
And now we're here. It's a reunion. Are you guys going to go back this year?
Yeah.
So I know. Go ahead, Daryl.
Yeah, I'll be back, I believe, the first weekend. They asked me to come back out. The DSGI did. Of course, I'm like, I'll do anything for those guys. They're amazing. Gina and and Andy and all those guys are just I can't say enough great things about them. And I apologize for cherry picking Trey and Jeff from them, but it is.
Yeah, no, she doesn't badmouth you. She loves you to death, but she's always like, he stole my boys.
So Daryl, I'm sure everyone knows you because you're infamous and famous.
Goodness. Daryl, what'd you do?
We'd like to hear your backstory too. I mean, have you started in the paranormal years ago? Or I know you had an experience. Your first experience, I read your book, by the way.
Yeah.
We
Your
did.
first experience was Fort Delaware.
Yeah, it all goes back to Fort Delaware, man. It's crazy. My first experience was by complete accident. I didn't know anything really about paranormal or any of this stuff. I mean, always thought it was interesting, but coming up, I did grow up in a haunted house, but I just don't remember it. I was way too young. I was like 6 years old when we moved out. I just remember the stories. And then when I went to Fort Delaware, it was in like 2005, and I went with my mom and my stepsister. They had tickets to go to the Halloween thing. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know much about this stuff. And so they, I ended up caving in, thank God. It led me on the path I'm on. And I went, and that's where I saw the half-body apparition. And what I saw, everybody asked me what a half-body apparition is. But what I saw was, it was a man from just the chest up, head and shoulders. That's all you could see. Maybe shoulder-length hair, a very disheveled beard with debris and like dirt or something in it. I remember seeing it. It was right there in the casemates, right at the like where the powder mag is in the casemates, right as you kind of make that, it kind of makes a 90. And that's where I saw him, and I knew I didn't talk about it that night, because back then paranormal was it was taboo. A lot of people, the shows were just coming out, but a lot of people didn't talk about it. But out of the 100 people that were there that night, only 5 people were there for the paranormal tour. Everyone else was there for the history tour. It's strange how it's totally changed. It's totally flipped. Like a lot of people don't go. You don't even hear about the history part of it. The history's in there. Don't get me wrong, but it's all paranormal. Look what they do. Look what DSGI does for the fort every October. It's all people come out for paranormal. That's what they come there.
Mm-hmm.
And they raised almost 2 million.
Yeah.
That's good.
Amazing.
That's insane, isn't it? And that's all nonprofit. They don't take a dime of it, and it goes back into the fort, which is kudos to them. Year, just dedicating their entire October every weekend to the fort. So that's huge, and that's one of the reasons. I always heard about DSGI. I really didn't know any of them until a year ago when they started. When Gina contacted me and asked me, "Hey, would you come out to the fort and do a book signing at one of our events?" I jumped on. I was like, "Hell yeah!" About time you called me. No, I was stoked to just come back out there because I hadn't been out there in almost 10 years. The last time I was out there was like maybe 2011 or 12. So when I went back out, I was like very stoked to go back out. My wife went with me, and my sons came with me. I was there for 2 weekends, beginning of the month and like toward the end of the month, and it was just a great time, and that's how I got started in the paranormal, was Fort Delaware, by complete accident. It's just how it happened, and I just followed that path and trying to figure out what I saw, and it led me to where I'm at today.
How old were you when you had your first experience? How old were you then?
boy, you're dating me now.
Sorry, how many years?
In
25.
2005, I would have been 34, 33 or 34.
Okay. So what did you do before that? I mean, for a real life job? So
I was always into contracting. I always worked in contracting, some like plumbing, more like plumbing, carpentry, general contracting. I've done all kinds of jobs. Then I became later on, about 7 years. Well, it's been about 7 years ago. I became a firearms instructor. So I had two different businesses. I had a fire and flood restoration company, and then I had a concealed carry company. That's what I did. When ghost hunters found me, and then I had to let them both go because it was just you couldn't do it.
too much,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I
So
was always on the road. Yeah.
yeah,
By the way, hi Jeff.
yes,
Is Jeff in there?
Yeah,
just
Jeff
joined.
just
Yeah.
popped up.
Hi, everybody. How are you?
Hi.
What's up, buddy?
We
What's up,
can't
brother?
see him.
He didn't turn on his video.
I just put a little baby to bed and sitting in the car.
Aww.
boy.
Well, thanks for
Well,
Yeah.
thanks
joining
for
us.
coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
We're excited. We got the whole
That's
team
great.
here.
All right.
Yeah. It's the reunion.
We've been waiting for this for a long time, so we're kind of starstruck with you all. So
Nah, don't
we're
feel
gonna
like
like jump in.
Well, we've been
and-
talking about coming on for a long time. Every time like we're together, Trey brings it up. It's like we got to get on their show, and I felt
Thanks, Trey.
we kept feeling bad about it, and
You're
finally
like, who?
we bit the bullet.
Thanks.
The jerk.
we bit the bullet Saturday night. Like, dude, let's just do it Tuesday if they can do it. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
That's
no,
exciting.
definitely.
We appreciate you guys having us.
Yeah. Absolutely. Anything that we could do to help you, even though you guys have a lot more people that follow you than us, but
yeah, we're just
we're getting there.
25
We're,
episodes now.
yeah, I was supposed to drop our 25th episode today, but I still haven't finished editing.
Which one's that?
We'll see if we give you that manner bump.
Yes. There we go.
There's a classic Jeff line.
He's really
When
laughing
are
on
you guys
that
coming
one.
back out to the manor?
When we can, we are trying to figure that out. Our schedule's wacky, so you know what it's like. I have a 3-year-old, so you know what that's like.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah, we'd like to.
Yeah.
We were talking about it and getting together with some of the paranormal friends,
Yeah.
maybe going
I
out
know
and doing a.
Girlfriend Girls are coming the 20th. The Staticon
Oh,
project. with Ryan
Staticon,
Lourdes. I'm
yeah,
telling you,
'cause
you
they're
guys
friends
should
with
check
him.
this out.
Yeah.
This is like
You can't go wrong with
July 20th.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with either one of the next two events. To be honest with you, you got the Staticon with Ron and Lourdes, which
Yeah.
is mind blowing because I've worked with them in the past, and I've been in the room several times when they're using this equipment, and I can't explain it. And then you have Dustin coming out on March 3rd.
Yeah.
Excuse me, August 3rd. I'll get the
Yeah.
month right. And that's another amazing event. You can't beat either one of them.
Yeah,
It sounds like
Dustin, I follow him on Instagram. He's so cool.
He's
Yeah,
a
he's a
good
good
guy.
guy.
So, other than My Haunted Manor, which is
Right.
like really hot right now, and you guys are so involved
Yeah,
in
you're
that.
booking so
Yeah,
much. I'm
really.
excited for you.
Yeah.
It's picking up.
Yeah.
What other investigations have you been involved in doing, and what kind of, do you do private homes at all, or do you just do,
In terms of us three?
yeah, or individually?
I know
Jeff-
Diamond State Ghost Investigator
Jeff, I want to get
does.
your background too. You kind of jumped in late, and
I told her to turn off her phone. So Jeff, you do video editing. So yeah, and then
Yeah,
Trey
so-
says he's learning.
And Trey's learning, yeah, it's been a huge help because it's
Yeah.
a lot. It's a lot of footage to go through, and you're trying to find that story, from the night. So it's tough because it kind of just unfolds on itself, and you're trying to keep up with dumping footage because some nights can just be roller coasters.
I think we
You don't know
found
what
the
you
right-
have until you get to the
Yeah.
computer and start editing it.
Yeah, legit.
So
But
Jeff, how did you get started in the paranormal?
I started as a kid. Had an experience when I was a kid. Saw a full body apparition of a man in his like late 50s. Um,
In your
with
home?
no one in the
The one
house.
on
Yeah,
Linden Street? Okay.
yeah, on Linden Street. Yeah, that's right. You know, it was an old townhouse, um, and he was just kind of leaning on the windowsill. And ever since, I've had experiences, especially in that house.
Mm-hmm.
And I've just been kind of trying to chase that dragon. You know, I wanted that experience again, and
Get that next
I got the
high.
itch
It's
for it. I
addicting.
know.
Yeah.
It's rare to see something like that.
Yeah,
That
for
is.
sure.
Did you
I
find out
know.
who it was? Why? Who? Do you have any idea?
My mom also saw an apparition, and her brother, who passed away, stayed with us for a while, and we think maybe it was him. I didn't feel anything negative. Felt, it was shocking to see, but
Interesting.
it was a good presence.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like most things that have come through are just like just regular people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So, what has been, we're going to go one at a time. What is the wildest experience that you've ever had?
Profound experience.
Most profound, thank you, grammar. Daryl,
Yeah.
do you want to go first?
Sure. I mean, outside of of course, the book I wrote, The Horrors of the House of Wills, I would probably say one of the most profound experiences I had was a place called Anderson Hotel in Kentucky, where I've talked about this before on our podcast. That's the place where I actually got thrown across the room by something. Uh,
Oh,
that was the one that really like it set into me. Like, there's things out there that have, and this is literally probably within a year of the House of Wills too. So I was kind of dealing with all that. Maybe
yeah.
why this happened, but that there showed me that there's energy out there, or I consider paranormal. I consider spirits, or whatever you want to call them, entities. I consider them energy, and there's energy out there that has that kind of strength. Intelligent energy to throw a grown man across the room, about 5 or 6 feet. That's when stuff really started kicking in for me. And that's when I kind of changed my outlook of paranormal. It wasn't just bumps in the night. It wasn't just EVPs or, sometimes the audible voice. It was other things out there that can harm somebody. And that was probably the craziest things that ever happened to me on an investigation at Anderson Hotel. Yeah.
Did you find out what entity it was that did
Well,
that?
we started delving. We kind of knew a little bit of the history of the building, but we started really delving into the history of the building after that happened, because there was, several eyewitnesses that actually saw this happen. And so I actually went back about 2.5, 3 months later to try to recreate what happened or try to debunk it in some way. Couldn't do it. But apparently, Anderson Hotel. I mean, it was an old dive. Like, it was a hotel, but you couldn't really call it a hotel. It was more like a little dive motel that people would pay like $100 a week to live there. Homeless people or people who were down on their luck. And the guy who was running the location back in the 80s, 70s, and 80s, he was pretty much a scumbag. Apparently he had raped a couple girls in the building, women who lived there. There was murders in the building, drug overdoses. There's all kinds of things that happened in this hotel over the years, and it got so bad where the state of Kentucky ended up shutting it down in 1989, and they just basically boarded the place up and left it until around 2013 or 14. They opened the door. An owner came in, bought the property, and they opened everything up. All the furniture and everything is still in the building, like it was back in 1989. And there was a mattress there where an 18-year-old girl had taken her life, where the blood stains were still on the mattress, where you could see where her body laid for maybe a day or so. It was still in the building, which it was surreal to see that. And So there's a lot of stuff going on there. But this guy he was the landlord, or the caretaker of the location. He was dabbling in witchcraft and things of that nature, using sigils and things of that like that around the building. We actually found sigils in the building behind mirrors and behind
You take pictures?
what's that?
Did you take pictures?
Yeah, they took pictures. Yeah, the guys, people I was with took pictures. Yeah.
And I see them?
If I still have them, they're on my old laptop.
That would be interesting.
This is like almost 10, 11
Yeah.
years ago now. But yeah, there's stuff like that in the building, and it was very surreal to be in a building and seeing the artifacts of a mattress where a girl took her life, or that possibly could have been murdered. She was 18 years old. She was pregnant. She was living there because she got kicked out of her house. So there's a bunch of wild stories from that location. Yeah, and they actually ended up shutting it back down a year or two later, and then I just heard possibly it reopened. So I'm not sure.
Wow.
That's frightening. How about you, Trey? Have you had anything that was kind of frightening to you, or?
I think one of the
Exciting?
craziest ones for me was actually me and Jeff with a few other members of DSGI in the Devon basement at Penhurst.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that was a crazy one.
Yeah, if you go down there, there's two big rooms. There's one that's called Candyland. That's like where all
Yes,
the kids
that's
stuff.
where's King? Is King in Devon?
That's
Or
I
is
think the Mayflower basement.
Okay. I haven't investigated yet, but we're trying to plan a trip in August.
Yeah.
That I'm bringing
awesome.
Matt. Matt's gonna be my buddy, but you can come too,
Let's
please.
do it. I'm down.
Yeah.
Always down for Penhurst.
We'll have one on each side, like, yes.
Yeah.
Protected.
There's
And I
another.
won't go. I don't like.
No, she won't go.
Now you don't want to do
stuff.
Penhurst?
No, I don't want to do anything that is, could potentially
Scary.
be violent or really
Yeah.
scary, or late night, because then it's too.
Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
So in the Devon basement, there's
Candyland.
Candyland. That there's like another big room. It's like a auditorium or gymnasium or something. I don't know what it used to be.
Yeah.
This is this big room, and we were standing there. It was me, Jeff, and like 3 other people from DSGI. And it's dark, so our eyes are kind of starting to adjust. You can kind of see like where everyone's standing. And as I'm standing there, we're all kind of looking around, asking questions, and whatnot. It looks like people are like coming up like real close to me and then shooting away like
In
you
your
know what I mean?
peripherals?
Yeah, well, just like I could like see it. It's just like something darker, like coming like this close.
Wow.
And then going away, and it's just like nonstop.
So did you see it, or did you feel it?
No,
or
I
both?
like could see it, like both. It felt,
But you felt the closeness.
right.
And there was multiples.
Yeah.
They were like surrounded.
Yeah,
They
so
were
this,
just like darting around us.
yeah,
And then there was one that was like 7 foot tall, like super tall, that got in between me and another DSGI member. Blocked
but that
out
sounds like
portions of
King.
light.
could be.
That could have been King.
Yeah.
But the whole time, like in my head, I'm thinking I'm just seeing stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm thinking like my eyes are messing with me.
Right.
And then at one point, I'm looking this way, and I turn to my right where Jeff was, and it looks, as soon as I turn over, it looks like he's got his fist like this,
No.
like that, like
Gosh.
right to my face, and I jump back, and I turn my flashlight on, and I'm like, what the hell? And he's got his hands like behind his back, and he's looking the other way.
Like
the
he
weirdest
was like,
thing.
So you
like
saw
he was
it.
like sucker punching you,
It just- yeah,
and
it
then
just
it was
looked like
like,
he
no,
had his-
It wasn't me.
I just turned and I see a fist.
Jesus.
Yeah, a fist and an arm straight out, and it was right where he was. Like, it was him doing it. I turned my flashlight on. He was looking the other way. And then that's when I kind of explained what was going on, and everyone in the room said the same thing was happening to them.
Wow.
So something like psychological, which has happened multiple times in Penhurst, like different, Mayflower I saw,
Yeah.
looked like Christy in a room walking by, past the door
Yeah.
real fast. And I just assumed it was her, but the way she was walking was weird. So I asked her, 5 minutes later, I was like, were you in this room? She was never even in that room.
Yeah.
But it was her,
Yeah.
like something mimicked her. It's like something plays with your head there.
That
It's-
reminds me. Keep telling
so
the story.
weird.
I have a little side thing.
Yeah.
When I went to pick up beer, I saw this
Mimic.
mimic wine.
That's a big theme with us.
And I was
Yeah.
like, that's hilarious. Click.
My Haunted
That was a
Manor.
weird one, though. That was weird, wasn't it, Jeff? That whole.
That was one of the, definitely one of the wildest ones for me. felt surrounded, felt unsafe for a minute.
Yeah.
And so how long did you stay there? Did you then just like skedaddle after that?
I think
Or
we
did
stuck
you-
around for a bit. I
You
think
stayed there for a
You
while?
were like,
I went and got the cameras. I was like, I
let's
need
get more of this.
Bring it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You got to be a little crazy to do the stuff we do. You know what I mean? You gotta.
Well, do you think that provoking, I mean, a lot of people don't
provoke.
Yeah.
provoke.
No, we don't believe in
Yeah, I don't try to
Because
do
that's, and we've been there where people have been kind of provoking, I guess, or saying things.
When? I don't remember that.
We were somewhere and that was happening.
Okay.
And we said, yeah, we're not supposed to provoke.
No,
So-
chill your mouth.
So, yeah,
People.
provoking. So do you feel like that, I know with Daryl, because I read his book, that somebody followed him home, an entity was there. Do you ever have that happen? Or how do you keep from having negative entities go home with you?
I mean, from my perspective, I've never had that. I don't think.
You haven't had
No,
it?
I don't think
Okay.
anything's ever followed me in. But I'm very faithful, Christian. Very religious. I don't go to church all the time, but I'm very faithful. So I pray before any investigation, pray after. Try to protect myself in that kind of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jeff, do you do protecting things too?
No, I'm just like, come on, guys, come on.
That's why you got that demon in your house.
We'll make some mac and cheese. We'll hang out. We'll watch the Netflix.
I don't want that.
It's funny.
I have noticed activity, kind of some weird stuff's been going on in the house since working at the manor. I've definitely had some experiences in the house I'm in now. One night I just heard just bare feet, footsteps run down the hall. But then things quieted down, but since working at the manor, I've heard a lot more. Just like, what the hell was that? Things in the kitchen.
In your current
Yeah.
home. So you grew up in a haunted home, but your current home is also.
Now, do you think maybe it's just you're noticing because you're trained to pick all this stuff up now that like that's your like job like I have to know all this stuff. Do you think you're just noticing it more, or do you think it's actually like there more?
There might be something to that. I've always kind of noticed it more than anyone else, or hear things maybe somebody didn't pick up on, it could be something to that. Working in the field, you're thinking about it a lot more than just watching the shows as a normal person.
So do you think you're like open, the entities know that you're more open to be able to interact with them, and is that why they interact with you, or is it some other thing going on?
Yeah, I mean, he wants to make mac and cheese, so.
I welcome it.
Go
I'm
wrong.
definitely open to it.
Jeff and I investigated his house.
Yeah?
Before we even started with the DSGI.
Really?
That's cool.
I would love to see
I
that
just
footage.
don't. You're like begging you don't find anything. You don't want to investigate your own house and capture.
That was probably my idea. My
EVP.
Yeah. I did a spirit box session in my house, and I got, I'm in an apartment, and a lot of nasty words was being said to me in my headphones, and I was like, well, thanks. No, I'm not going to be doing that to you.
Try not to do it, where I sleep, just
it's
have
probably a
safe
good
place
rule.
you can always go to, and just not have to think about that stuff for a minute.
Yeah. Now, Daryl, you shook that whole House of Wills thing off. It's gone. You prayed it away. I don't mean to be flippant about it, but you basically prayed it.
Yeah, that's what worked. I mean, just opening myself up to a higher power, and realizing that I was not as big of a person as I thought I was, and myself in so many different ways actually helped. Whatever I brought home with me, and believe me, it's always lingering. I always feel like there's a part of it with me because it always comes up in conversations. Even before the book. There's always that, some reason the House of Wills always pops up. It's always there. And like I said, I feel like I left a part of me there and brought a part of it back with me. We kind of, traded, flipped. So yeah, I think that's, doing this for almost 20 years now. You get used to it, and when I'm investigating, I just don't open myself up to anything. I stay very closed to it. I don't provoke. I don't open myself up, and I don't bring baggage to an investigation. So I'm not bringing any personal problems or anything like that
Right, no.
into it, where anything negative can actually attach itself to you and use it against you. So that's just the way. That's just a rule in my life. Period. Like I don't bring home to work, and I don't bring work home. And this is how it's especially over the last 10 years I've learned to live my life.
Yeah, that's a really good rule to have.
Mm-hmm. So is there any place that you wouldn't go?
No.
No.
You're like, I'm down for it all.
They'll do any.
Yeah, if the
Yeah.
opportunity is there and it's in the books, well, I know I'll do it, and I know I got these two guys will definitely be on board for whatever it is. So I mean, we're very open to everything.
We're dying to go to the UK and see all their locations, and dying to go to House of Wills. Check that out.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to go to House of Wills?
I might be going back.
Oh, really?
Daryl's first time.
Oh.
Yeah.
First time back.
Yeah. If I could talk my wife into let me.
That's the biggest key.
Yeah. I wanted to know, so the Sally house seems to be like the big place that everybody is like, oh, I had a nightmare about it the other day. The Sally house. It's Atchison, Kansas.
Yeah.
And they say it's demonic, but I don't actually believe in demons, so like I have yet to see something demonic.
Yeah.
So
I've been talking about that place for like 30 years. It was even like before, any of the TV shows. You always had those like weird spin-off shows that talk about haunted locations and everything. Sally House was always one of them. They always talked about. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know people who went there. I actually was supposed to go there a couple of years ago and I never went. Some people say they've had great, crazy things happen there, and I've had other people say nothing's happened. So
yeah,
I mean, it's one of those places that's kind of like I'm on the fence. Yeah.
Yeah. And the Basilica Axe murder house. I'm talking stuff that she doesn't even know about. But I feel like that one would also be kind of a scary place to go.
Well, Johnny Hauser, the guy who runs it's going to be at the bash. Basilica Axe murder house. He's a good guy.
I don't even know what day it is. So tell us, everybody, what day it is. The bash.
I'm sorry, what the day the bash is? The bash is 3 days, actually. It's July 26th, 27th, and 28th. So it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
In Gettysburg, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
it's a cool event. I didn't do the last 2 years, but I was there. I headlined it in 2020 and 2020, or 21 and 22, I think it was. I headlined it. I didn't go last year. Yeah, I missed 1 year, and we're back this year, and that just all happened in the last week or two. Like they, called me and asked us to come back, and it's a really cool event. It's a big event. It's huge. Even for a Friday event, they have like if they're open on Fridays and Saturday and Sunday, but even for a Friday, it's packed, and there's a lot of really cool vendors there. And you're in Gettysburg, so if you get tired and you want to go hang out in the town, there's so much to do,
Yeah.
Yeah, Daryl and I will be there this year.
Yeah. So is it actually at Gettysburg, or it just in the town, or outside, or?
It's in a new location this year. I have not been to this hotel. Gettysburg it's kind of splinters out into the royal part of it too. It's not just the town, so it's one of the newer hotels, so it has to be around town. I haven't been to this hotel yet, I don't think.
Okay. And is there anything else that's coming up? I mean,
yeah, we got the HillCon. which is at Hillview Manor, August 10th. I believe it is. It's a Saturday, August 10th. We'll be there at HillCon, which is in Newcastle, Pennsylvania, up by almost Ohio.
Yeah.
And then we have, of course, we have our two big events. Was it July 20th and August 3rd? July 20th with Ron and Lourdes at the Manor, at My Haunted Manor USA, and then we have Dustin Perry coming in and us for August 3rd for My Haunted Manor USA also, and then when we go into September, it gets really crazy. I'll be out in California for a while, doing a big Paracon out there, the Gold Country Paracon. We have an event on the 7th, I believe, of September also. So yeah, and then we're off to I believe we're doing the Warrens at the end of the month.
Okay.
Warrens Paracon, and then in October is just every weekend there's something.
Yeah.
Big Halloween party, so stay tuned for that. We haven't released final details, but that's coming soon. Big Halloween party at the Manor.
Maybe that's her birthday. Is
October 29th.
29th. I think it's the 26th. It's not final yet, but I think that's the day.
Yeah, it's the 26th is the day we're going to do it.
Yeah, so just stay tuned.
I'm ready.
Yeah, get your costume.
I'll just cut holes in a sheet.
So everyone will do. It'd be funny if everyone was
Yeah, yes, that would be cool.
I want to dress up as Rowdy.
Rowdy, yeah, I could see that. I liked her 80s costume too. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. That was a good time.
I'll be Amy.
I can style your hair for you.
Okay. Cool.
Get you a nice wig. What was next?
Oh,
Got some cool episodes coming up.
Yeah.
Next Sunday is our next YouTube episode. More Spooky Cam trials, Spooky Cam 2. I'll just let you know that there's a Spooky Cam 3. I'm just going to skip ahead.
That's the one. That's
I
the
like
one
that idea of the
Spooky Cam 3
spooky
is
cam.
the one, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's something that we're going to, start each night with and kind of, treat that as an extra camera.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she came. Spooky, I guess. Is that a boy or a girl? She.
Girl.
Yeah.
Okay. We were in the print shop.
Print shop when we were doing the print shop thing.
And she came out from the room behind the print shop.
Yeah.
Scare the hell out of you.
A little bit. Well, because we had been hearing noises in there, and it sounded like something dropping, drip, drip, drop, or like something
like little
falling.
water drops or something happening. But
And
we
so
couldn't
we're
see
like
anything.
looking around, and then we hear another noise, and it's spooky. I was like, okay, it's spooky this
It's
time.
funny. We've been.
But I actually had something come and
Touch you.
Yeah, I was not
Loom?
not touch, just sort of envelop me.
Yeah.
Surrounded.
Yeah.
Where was that?
In the print shop, in that doorway.
With the storage areas behind it.
The storage stuff.
Because I was standing with my back towards that.
And because you guys don't have a camera in there, right?
No.
Yeah.
Stay
We're
tuned.
getting one. We're adding cameras.
Yeah, because that's when we had our sing-along. we
had somebody from a newspaper. Or
Oh
something.
yeah, we got interviewed by the guy
Lancaster.
from. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So that was.
I guess that article should be coming out this week sometime.
I think it's dropping Sunday. Is
Yeah.
What I was told.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So
More
and
time
he
make it
said he
perfect.
wants to come do an investigation with Gis,
That's it.
but he was a little nervous. So
Yeah.
it was funny. But he apparently listen. I talk to everybody. I make everybody friends. Everybody's all my friends. So I was talking to him on the phone, and he said he used to live in Belgium, and like it was really haunted over there. And I was like, that's
My in-laws live in Belgium. Yeah.
yeah.
So why do you think Europe has everything is haunted there? And I guess things are haunted here, but we're not as old. I mean, on some of I've been to England and Scotland, and I mean the buildings are
Old AF.
old, and I guess that gives more opportunity for Or is it because people are more accepting and they believe
Yeah.
in spirits more than they do here? I know one of our goals is to get people to not be afraid
Yes.
if there's some activity or they've had activity, they want to talk about it. It's a safe space to go ahead and discuss. We've had
Yeah.
discussions with people that we haven't put on the podcast.
Yeah, because people
but-
don't want to talk about it publicly.
Yeah, they're a little bit nervous, but
Yeah.
it seems like it's more
It's
accepted.
more open there, and I
Yeah.
feel like with me personally, I like dabble in witchcraft. I look for paganism. I like follow a bunch of different religions. So like they talk about being a pagan, no big deal there. But you say you're a pagan here, and they're like, "What is that?" Or like, "You're a devil worshiper" or something, you know. So it's like I feel like we here have like strict things. Do you run into that kind of stuff here?
Yeah, we run into it. I mean, in my travels, not just. I mean, we've had stuff like that. At the manor, people come in and say they're witches or pagans or whatever. But in my travels over the years, I've run into witches, good and bad, that say they're bad, um, and things of that nature. But when I was over in the UK, yeah, I'll agree. It's probably more accepted over there because there's a lot of especially in Chester, there's a lot of like head shops that are like that, like about witchcraft. Like we walk down the street, it'll be a shop, it's all about witchcraft or paganism. So I do believe they're probably more open over there about it than we are over here. And I think that a lot that has to do with that is because of the people who, our ancestors who left Europe, came over here, were of a very devout Christian, belief. And that's kind of been part of the ongoing thing for the last several hundred years here. Now, um, that's the only really, as far as them being more haunted than us. Yeah, their buildings might, because our buildings aren't as old, but America was inhabited way before we got here by Native Americans. And I tell you that you go out west, I mean, it's very thick out there in Native American belief, like a belief system that's thousands and thousands of years older than Christianity. And you can feel it out there. It's a completely different vibe out west. You like say parts of Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, Utah. You get into that more of that Native American vibe of the paranormal, and it's a different
Colorado
world.
too.
Yeah, and it's a different world than it is here on the East Coast, where this is where we settled. We first settled as Europeaners. But out there, man, it's still very much part of their folklore.
Yeah.
Maybe Americans just work so hard they have less unfinished business. Europeans are drinking tea all day. They have unfinished business.
Yeah, especially in the UK.
Yeah.
Everybody's pinkies up. TTT. What other questions do we have? I can't read it.
We have some just general questions about, what's the most fun place that you've gone to?
Oh, yeah. What's the most fun? That's a good one. And then also equipment.
Yeah, definitely equipment. So are there places that you just thought it was hysterical, that it was just fun to go? I know, Jeff, you probably find everything fun. Even feeding.
Going to the fort with DSCI and, just having full reign of that place to run around. It's like an amusement park. Trey and I would just like run around giggling. It was so much fun just to be in a place.
Yeah,
Daryl, you went this last time, right?
Yeah, I was there back on the 1st this month. It was me, Trey, and my wife, and it was really cool because I don't think I've ever been there past like 1 a.m. The first time I ever really got to spend the night, and like we didn't like we didn't leave there until 10 o'clock in the morning. We got
Yeah.
there around 5 in the afternoon. We left around 10 a.m. and it was just nonstop. Us just having a good time, investigating and everything, and just kind of just exploring. Really fun, yeah.
And it's cool to like take the boat out there and back.
You do
You
feel
really feel
isolated,
isolated.
right? You do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's
you're
kind of
kinda like
its own
on
little
your
world.
own. Yeah.
You don't have to say, "Oh, was that a car?"
Right?
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
We went
Or
to
Fort Mifflin,
and
and the
a plane.
planes.
It's like air
that's
traffic.
air base.
Yeah, that was crazy though. I can't wait to get our Fort Mifflin out there because it was a lot.
So we
had a lot of good
interviewed
stuff.
Greg.
Yeah, we're interviewing
Sunday.
Greg on Sunday from Fort
Greg's a
Mifflin.
good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny when I was on Ghost Hunters. Every time, like when I was either flying out of Philly or landing in Philly, I would always take pictures and stuff. It was like, "Oh, you just flew over me, man," and like it would always hit me up on Facebook. And literally, because anytime I would fly in from like south, I would always fly. It flies right over Fort Mifflin. Like you could look right down into the fort. You're only like you're probably like only 1,000
doesn't
feet
hit the
around.
building.
It's crazy.
I had a buddy that worked there and saw a full body apparition.
Yeah.
Really?
He's not
Worked
even in.
at Fort Mifflin?
Yeah, I don't know what he did there. I forget. This is back when I worked at like a grocery store. He was a vendor.
And where was it that he saw that? In one
I
of
think
the
it was like
casemates, or-
no, I think it was like outside. I don't know. I'm imagine it's similar to like Fort Delaware. I've never been there, but I think it was like on
It's like Fort Delaware, but with planes.
Well, I mean it is, but there's like
Yeah, no.
underground things. Like
Okay.
there's like these hills, and then you go into them.
Casemates.
So it's kind of cool.
I'm pretty sure what he said was like it looked like a soldier walking like behind a shed or something. Like it was outside.
Okay.
It was like I don't know parade ground. We got for it.
It might have been like the place that looks like stables.
Yeah, there's in the back of the fort, there's stables in the back.
And that was near the shop,
The blacksmith
shop.
Jesus, I'm like hitting the
Yeah,
anvil.
I know. It's like,
We have one brain together. Like,
it takes two of us to form a sentence.
It's me and Jeff sometimes.
we saw in the commandant's house, we saw a shadow figure. It looked like it was pacing, and we were all just sitting there looking at it, like watching this thing pace. It was so cool. So
Go get that at Port Delaware too. Like
Yeah.
shadow figures and stuff.
yeah.
Oh.
I saw somebody in My Haunted Manor coming up, the staircase with the doors with the X's. Like I saw a flash come up in color, but it wasn't like a full body apparition, but I just saw like this flash. And then Dawn also said at the same time she saw a shadow move. So, and like you can see, I've seen stuff at My Haunted Manor as well. So
Yeah, 100%. That's a creepy corner back there, and those rooms are like blocked off. But all the money that there's money that goes back into the manor. That's what the project is. A big part of is out the exterior. Actually, there used to be dormer windows that they want to put back up, and once you put them back up, we've seen pictures of it. It looks a lot like the hotel in Chester.
Yeah.
There's so many synchronicities with the hotel.
Yeah.
Wait till like this building, we put them up like it used to be. It looks exactly like it, and then it's like also a block away from a river, just like the hotel is.
Just the
Yeah.
same.
There's a lot of synchronicities with it.
wait, didn't they just get Woolton Hall?
Yeah, so it's My Haunted Mansion they just added, and then
Yeah.
My Haunted Mill. as
Yeah.
well, Church Mill.
Well, so Bellevue used to be called Woolton Hall. So that was pretty neat. When I saw that, I was like, there's another connection. Because I know you, Daryl, were also at Bellevue as well. I saw that picture.
Bellevue used to be a castle. Yeah, it was totally different.
Oh
than
yeah, that's right.
And it was called Woolton Hall.
Daryl was like, was I? Did I?
I've been to so many places. Like people ask me, like, "You've been there, right?" I'm like, I don't think so. And they're like, "Oh, there's a picture of you there." I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's what I remember."
Bellevue has those creepy tunnels in the basement too.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's the only place we had activity was in that tunnel.
In the last 15 minutes of the night, we got some cold spots, but like it was like walking through us.
Yeah.
And then we heard
Yes.
cat ball went off, and then I went, and then later on we had 3 knocks, like probably like 3 to 5 minutes later, knocks on the wall, and I was like, oh, I heard that.
And in the tunnel.
Yeah.
It's 3 bits. Shaving hair.
Yeah, 3 bits. Inflation.
We had a really good shaving haircut in the last episode.
Yeah, I saw.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
Up in that magic window room.
That's one thing about My Haunted Manor. It's like every time you go there, it's getting more and more active in different ways. Things that, like in the beginning, it was a lot of like audible footsteps or maybe EVPs, and every once in a while you'd hear something. And now we're getting the audible voices. We're getting the intelligent knocking back. People are seeing, these shadow anomalies and shadow figures. A few people actually saw in the print shop what they explained to be a full body apparition walk from one side of the room to the other. So there's a lot going on. It's steadily increasing. People getting touched. A lot of stuff with kids. We did a really cool experiment. This last weekend when we were there for the event that's going to be on one of the upcoming shows with the boys down in the basement in May, and I can't wait to get that out there. It's really cool. It was some of the stuff was very like wow, the very intelligent interaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to tell you, I did not like that basement.
A lot of people say that.
Yeah.
I did not like that basement. I was cold the whole time, like freezing cold.
Yeah. Well,
Just
every single one of us was shaking. Like I was violently shaking, but I wasn't cold. It was, what was it? It went up to 65.
I think it dropped.
It dropped,
but it was
5 degrees while we were in there.
But it was just the whole time I was not happy.
No, I almost tapped out on that one, and I don't tap out.
I've been there this weekend because it was about 100 degrees upstairs.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
It's brutal.
What? It's not air conditioned? I don't want to go because no air conditioning.
The first floor is really cooled off. Like it's really nice down there. It's even the foyer and everything. But once you go up, to the second floor. It's about a 10 to 15 degree difference, and then when you get to the third floor, it's like it's very noticeable. It's
Everybody's like, ooh.
So do you think the activities increase because people are bringing more energy in because they know that there's things going on? You get people that are
well, we had that same question
The renovations too.
We had that same question this weekend, and in the Q&A, someone asked that same thing. Why do you think the activity has increased in the building? And I'm like, well, I mean, you got to look at it. 6 months ago, you didn't have this foot traffic coming through the building, and you always have at least one of us there almost every weekend doing something, if not all of us. And then you have all these people coming in for these events, and you have people staying the night, during the week and stuff like that. So whatever's there, it's feeding off that energy. And it's also, I think it's to the point where it's getting to know people and knowing our personalities, especially with the three of us, and interacting with us more.
Yeah.
So do you think that there's entities that are just, they can't leave, or they don't leave for some reason, or do you think it's entities that come back and visit because that was, like Rockwood, I always feel like, the people that live there had a good time. They come back and interact, especially Eddie. Seems to have a really good time there.
Yeah.
And they're not there all the time, but they come back.
Yeah,
come in and out, where there's some entities maybe that are kind of stuck in one location and haven't moved on.
Yeah, I like to think that you're a tourist, and you can travel and move around and visit loved ones and see places you worked and lived. But I also think that there are things that are, semi-stuck, but it's more like an imprint of that moment, imprint of that energy, where it's just you're walking down the hallway, and that is like replayed like a broken record.
Residual, yeah.
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 But I don't think they feel stuck. I think they're just in that moment still.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I kind of think of it. I like to think of it the fact that like these people lived and died there. That's their house. So like like our houses, the houses we live in. We put all our blood, tears, and sweat into these properties over the years, and it's your property, it's your house, especially if you live there for a long time, and they just don't want to leave it. It doesn't mean they can't walk down the street or move around. I think if there's something stuck there, it's probably residual energy that's just stuck there. It's how it thrives off the energy of the building. Yeah, I believe that you can move around. Yeah.
Sometimes, like, we'll hear things like, help me, or.
On spirit boxes,
Yeah,
or
on
like
spirit
on
boxes.
the spirit talker or whatever.
Yeah, and it's like, where were we? And there were children, Penhurst? No, where were we? Someplace where there were, it
Kids.
kept coming up and saying.
Well, I
help
think that
us,
was that our spirit box session at
or-
Rockwood.
Maybe so, yeah.
Yeah.
So, there's some
Yeah. I
entities that can't.
see, that's the thing. We'll talk about equipment. So how much stock do you put in spirit box sessions? Daryl's like, no.
I think there. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think some of it could definitely be paranormal. It's more. I always try to explain it like this. I know the entertainment side of this, and I know the serious side of this. What we do, and I can play both sides very easily because I've done it for years. I know the spirit boxes, the cat balls, crap like that. It's entertainment. You can only put it in that category because you can't prove it. But if, like you say on Ghost Hunters, like at the end of the week, we always had a client we had to sit down with and explain to them what's going on in their building. I can't bring a cat ball to them. I can't. I can't bring a spirit. I can't bring a music box to them. That goes off or anything that say it's paranormal. I need some factual evidence.
Right.
And I think with that type of equipment, there's always false positives to it. So I can't sit there and say, yeah, it's paranormal. It's fun. You'll have a lot of people use them at the events, and I'm not against it because a lot of people are not there to reinvent the wheel. They're there to have a good time and be scared or have some kind of activity happen. And if that's what they want, that's what they get. But when when you look on the serious side on, like we are on My Haunted Manor, yeah, we have a great time. But we on the show we tried to one of the first things we did when we went into that location was we took all the names and all the folklore and all the hearsay and put it in over here in one category. Like, okay, we'll revisit that. Where are you getting all these names from? This Tom, Dick, Harry, Joe, Lisa. None of these people existed because we brought in two historians that have actually delved into the history of the building, and like most of those names never come up in any of the history books.
Right.
And it's not saying they weren't there, but we can't find any proof of it.
If you can't prove it, then it's useless.
We have to throw it out. When in doubt, throw it out. So until we can, then it's just hearsay. So so we'll take like the factual evidence, like Samuel Schock. We know Samuel Schock lived and died in that building. He worked there. He lived there for 40 years. He died there. His funeral was in that building. So we could run with that. We could take that that history. We could take that evidence and actually move in a positive direction with it. So that's how I kind of look at the equipment. Like the equipment, like there's only certain pieces of equipment I'll use. One of them's an EDI. Another one would be a really good, audio recorder, a thermal camera, and a regular camera. There's nothing else I really lean on because you can't prove anything with it. It's at the end of the day, it has to be thrown out.
Yeah.
Yep. Camera is, running around doing video, but we urge guests to use your phone. Your phone is a really great tool.
Yep.
On live mode.
Take live mode photos, take a couple in the same angle, and then you can back it up and say it's not in this shot, but it's here, and here's a live. You can see it it appears with the flash. And there's no fakery there.
Yep.
You can do EVP sessions with voice memo stuff. It's like easy stuff you can pull up on your phone without having to like download, Ghost Tube or whatever.
Yeah.
We had a guest from this past Saturday that sent me some videos with some interesting voices.
Was it Tyranny?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I showed them guys, we gotta look into it further, but
Yeah, no, I
wanna
saw
check
them
the
too.
static cams, see what else was in there, but they were pretty interesting.
Well, the ball was moving.
The ball was moving, yeah, we gotta
Yeah.
look at, what that wind was coming through that window and whatnot.
Yeah.
There's definitely hits there, 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's really cool because we can always, like, when people capture stuff in the building, and if we're not with them, we can always go back on the static cams and look at it and try to correlate with what the experiences they're having with what we're actually capturing on our cameras, and see if we can take that and make something out of it. That's another part of the show. That's what we strive for in the show, a real actual investigation, showing how it's done. And you can see this is not like one overnight. We've been there for almost 7 months now filming.
Yeah.
And
Man, it's been that long. Shoot.
it's been 7 months. We started in December, doing B-roll there, but we start filming the show in January.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we got 8 more cameras coming, so there's a lot of blind spots that we need to hit, and
Oh yeah.
I can't even imagine what else we're gonna catch once we get these.
So
Yeah.
We're
have
talking
you
about bringing in some haunted objects too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
really?
So the hotel, I don't know how familiar you guys are with the My Haunted Hotel, but they brought in the Grease doll, which is like
Basically
infamously.
the UK's Annabelle.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
And they
okay.
put it in what's called room 8 over there. And once they put that in, it was just off
A
the
lot of
charts.
activity.
Yeah.
Is that so-
I actually, when I was over there, I investigated in that room. They put me in that room and shut the door and had the camera on me, and I had a lot of crazy stuff happen in like half hour, 45 minutes. I was in that room with that doll. It was loud bangs in the room, footsteps. It was pretty wild.
Didn't somebody pass out or something in that room?
I think so.
Yeah.
Someone had a panic attack, basically.
Yeah.
I
can see
can't.
it.
Yeah.
The place is very active. The old King's Head? It's very active building.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we asked when I was there. I filmed there for that whole night. Within like an hour of filming, we were in this one room. I can't remember the name of the room, and we had something walk up to the door. The boys, the three, Harry, Brett, and Danny were all in the control room, like we said, and there was just me and the 2 other investigators who I was with, and we had something actually walk up down the hallway to our door and knock on our door. And it's in camera view. You can see the camera on the door. There's nobody there. Knock on the door. We open the door. Nobody's there. We shut the door. Several minutes later, it happens again. Boom, 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 boom. Something knocking on the door. Like full-blown knocks on the door. Yeah.
That's
Were you
wild.
there?
Nah.
Oh.
Open.
So here's a question. Now, do you think places can get burnt out and like all the energy just goes and you're not going to get any hauntings anymore?
I don't think it would be more. I would think I've been to places that where you actually walk into them and you're actually crossing another team, paranormal team, leaving. I think it's burnt out. I think the energy there just doesn't want to, doesn't want to communicate at that point. There's a lot of places like that here in the States where, they rent it out 24/7 and it just burns. Especially if they're on a TV show, it gets really popular really quick.
Right.
And becomes a big money maker for these guys, which is there's no problem in that because a lot of the money goes back into restoring these properties. Properties, there's a lot of money. We know how much it costs to keep a roof over our head with a mortgage and everything. It's the same thing for one of these properties. You got to keep on. You got to pay the bills. I've seen that at quite a few places. But the cool thing was when COVID happened. A lot of these places were shut down for 6 months to a year, and all of a sudden, when they opened back up, and especially I started doing they started calling me for events. I would go to some of these locations, and they were crazy. They were just popping off because there hadn't been anybody in them for a year.
They're like, yay, somebody's here, I can talk. That's funny.
So do you think that sometimes we're the ghosts?
Yeah, I do believe that.
time slips and
Yeah.
interdimensional stuff.
Right,
I love
yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought that,
I like
there's a
that.
movie I always liked to reference,
The others.
the others, that
Mm-hmm.
kind of turns it around a little bit, and I can think about that often, is like, we are interfering in their space, and they're probably saying, look, they're back again. Let's make some
Mm-hmm.
noise and talk with them.
Who's to say, like, maybe some interactions and experiences we have isn't another dimension? You know what I
Right.
mean? I don't think we have
Yeah.
the answer to that.
No, we
it's kind of
don't.
what we pursue and why we do it. You
Yeah,
know, try to
that's
find
right.
answers, but it
But
could be.
the funny thing is, every time I think, like, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna figure this out, it just brings up more questions.
Right,
I'm like, I'm never gonna figure this out.
That's why me and Daryl had a family that came 2 weeks ago, and they were asking, "Did you find answers in the basement yet?" After they watched the last episode,
Oh, yeah.
and I told her, I was like, "This stuff is never linear. It's never like bang, bang, bang. It's
Yeah.
always just, you know, you go a month and maybe find another piece to the puzzle, and then you start putting it together. But it's
Yeah.
always just fluid." You know?
I think the information about Keebler was very.
Yeah, Keebler was
Really
cool.
That is
crazy.
cool.
Yeah.
With the cookies you be putting.
Yeah.
We have something that correlates to that in an upcoming episode. as well.
Awesome.
Same time of night, so.
I thought it was cool that Taylor and Morgan brought the Keebler the fudge stripe cookies, and they didn't even know.
And
Yeah,
that,
that was before that came out.
Something
Yeah.
told them to do that.
Well,
Which is
Morgan's
psychic.
psychic.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that
yeah.
kind of validates it.
Yeah,
It's like, what's the chances
definitely.
that she does that?
Right, and so we had the sing-along in the print shop, and so we had the EMF detector going off, and so we were like, okay, do you like music? And then it said, we were going through drums, guitar, and then it hit on piano and organ, and so they were like, okay, church music. And so
And before that happened, there was nothing there.
We weren't getting anything.
We were getting nothing at all. It was just
So,
completely quiet.
yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it just took off.
So Morgan's on her phone trying to find some church music to play, and Mom starts singing the same exact song at the same exact time she puts it on. And it was, what a friend we have in Jesus.
And I haven't been to church since I was 18. You know, I don't.
Where the hell did
that
this
came
come?
from, I don't know. It just sort of appeared in my mouth. And I was even surprised I remembered the words.
Oh yeah, I just
you'll
kind
never
of,
guess
and-
what DVD I have on in my car right now.
what?
You'll never guess what DVD I have in my car.
The others?
No, no.
Well, you have in Jesus.
Yeah.
Hey, we should play that song in the print shop next time we're up there.
Yeah.
Boys.
We've been
Yes.
trying to play more music to trigger things,
Yeah.
so I think that's
We
a good
have.
idea.
What they call church music, but I thought that
Yeah.
the music, it keeps the energy level up. I
Right.
think that's another thing that it's.
Well, and
It's a way
I,
to connect.
I like that we sang after that Amazing Grace, and then you guys did it in that episode. So, no, Matt was telling me, have you released that part?
So that was just a night me and Matt. were up
You
there.
or Matt, yeah.
But there on the future episode, me and Jeff did play Amazing Grace. At one
Okay,
point.
good.
We were playing Civil War music
Civil
to maybe
War
tie in
music,
with
yeah.
everything that had to do with the Civil
And then
War
maybe
time.
some spirituals of, you know, the
Yeah, because
time period for the Underground Railway.
I mean, this is all conjecture, but we think Thomas in the print shop likes church music.
music.
He's a Christian man.
Let's keep that in mind, and we'll try that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
But we had the same experience. I had the same experience.
In
when-
Fort Mifflin too.
In Fort Mifflin,
She's music psychic
and
apparently.
I don't know why, but we were in the building and there was nothing going on, and
You and Kelsey both had the
We
same
both-
song pop in your head.
it did, and it was, I've been working on the railway.
On the
Because it
railroad.
had that anvil beat,
Yeah,
that kind of beat.
yeah.
And it was just like, why we both happened at the same time, I don't know. And that's
Yeah.
just not something you can, document. I mean, it's a personal experience, but it was just weird because things like that do not happen to me.
Right.
I love it.
Yeah. See, and I think you guys have a good balance between personal experiences and, legit, here's the photo, here's the video, here's the audio. So I think that's the best. I mean, your slogan is like real people, real experiences, right?
Yeah. You got
Yeah,
it. You got
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So,
But I think
Just,
that,
having the eyewitnesses there and then being able to, say, hey, here's the proof to back it up.
yeah,
What
here
they
they are
experienced.
together.
That's why I say the people that come out, they're the stars. They're the ones investigating. You know what I mean? And it's us trying to back that up with our
Yeah.
cameras, or
That's
you know what I
true.
mean, and stuff like that. Trying to provide them the history to use.
Well, and now I have a whole new group of friends.
That's what. Yeah. That's.
That's the best part.
para-friends.
We had
Yeah.
an interview on Saturday. That's why I said my favorite part is seeing the connections grow from
Yeah.
people that are coming out here. I love that.
Yeah. Got lots of new friends.
Great.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that the other day. It's weird, like how many different connections have branched off because of My Haunted Manor USA. The different connections between new people and people finding themselves and starting new projects in the paranormal because what we're doing is pretty wild.
Yeah.
It motivates us, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To expand.
Yeah,
To,
just keep.
yeah.
It's refreshing too, because there's a lot of like toxicity in the paranormal field. So it's we're all about boosting each other up and boosting Columbia and
Yeah.
just positivity.
Yep.
Yeah,
Fun.
that town's pretty awesome too. Have you looked at other places there? Have you been to any of the other places around?
Besides the
towns?
market. I know you guys went to the market, right?
The market.
Go ahead, Jeff. You want to hit on that?
Yeah, there's other places we're reaching out to. There's right on the same block as the manor is the old potato chip factory. It's run down factory that's getting gutted and turned into a hotel, which is going to be an awesome place to come stay and
Yeah.
Rooftop
a long
bar.
weekend.
Oh, that's
We're
nice.
trying to get in there before they gut it and investigate. It's got reports of being haunted.
That's
There's
good.
an antique shop that was run by Al Capone at one point.
It's wild.
So yeah, we're gonna hit on more spots. You can come, stay the weekend and see the manor, and then hit all these other haunted spots.
Well,
Tinkles is a haunted diner.
we stayed at Bully's, and
Okay.
the owner there said that
It's
he's had
haunted.
some activity in the basement there, so,
And in the attic.
in the attic.
So
They redid that building. It's nice. It's a nice place to stay, but
yeah.
The whole town is so haunted.
Yeah.
It's insane. Anyone you
And
talk to has an experience.
Yeah.
That's what.
There's reports of some tunnels that we could get access to,
Nice.
some underground railroad tunnels. So that would be really amazing.
oh yeah, it would be.
Absolutely.
Would love to get behind the tunnel in our basement. I think it's all kind of blocked up with dirt, and we'd have to look into that. But
Yeah.
it'd be cool to see. You know what I mean? If we could.
Yeah, refurbish it.
Bring down the
Probably
wall.
really nice brick.
Bring the world up.
Light it up with lanterns.
We'll play
Yeah,
some
that would
Pink
be
Floyd.
interesting.
Get some cadaver dogs or GPR down there too.
I really,
There's something down
there's
there.
something I think that might have been my strongest experience besides Barley Mill. But being in the basement and the physicalness of it was, I'm not scary, but it was like, I need to not do this. I need to not shake this
It's
much.
overwhelming.
Yeah. And then I was up on the second floor and it started to come up. Like I started to shake again and I felt something come up in front of me and I was like, you need to back up. Like you're starting to like affect me physically. I can't deal with it. Yeah.
We had a guest this past weekend. Me and Jeff did a double blind in the basement, double blind Estes method.
Nice.
Which worked out really well, but at one point a guest got overwhelmed and had to leave. So
Yeah,
it's
the
definitely
basement.
something that happens a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I know you guys have to go. But what's for the future for you guys individually and also for the team?
Well, I mean, we're really concentrating on what we're doing here at My Haunted Manor USA and My Haunted Project, and I think we've been speaking a lot of it lately, branching out to other locations and bringing them on board for what we have going on here over in the U.S.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
It'd be amazing to find something in Delaware too.
Yeah.
Something close to them.
Really?
Yeah.
I think we would like to start doing some road trip stuff too at some point. Maybe hit some other locations. Be cool.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It only takes money, right?
yeah.
Time and money.
That's it.
Time and money.
Yeah, that's our holdup.
Yeah, that's so much we'd like to do, but
Yeah. She was my adventure buddy before we started doing this, and then I had my child, and he is not ready for road trips.
Yeah, he needs to travel a lot.
We need to get Birdie some go something gear, Jeff.
Yeah, my daughter, she's a little ghost hunter in training.
I have some stuff on my merch site.
Yeah, we're gonna get some. We'll get some.
We'll do a trade.
Once I get Spooky Cam working, I'll get Baby Cam. Will be the next step.
I don't know. My kid definitely talked to something in my apartment, so because it was cool. Those kids have they're closer to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thinner veil, is what I would say.
I think and I think there's parakids, like a community training for the paranormal investigating for kids. I wish I had something like that when I was a kid. Yeah, Interstate hosts that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it'd be a good time.
That would be good.
So glad.
I have to borrow somebody's kid that's of age so I can go. All right. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else you want to
Put out there.
put out there before you go?
No, just
MyHauntedManor.com.
yeah. Watch the episodes. Yeah, support the show. Watch the episodes. They're amazing. I can't say enough great things about what the Bader boys are doing with the with all the
About the Bader boys. Yeah.
editing and making this show great. It's just it's really our baby. It's something we've been watching it grow, and it's growing so fast, especially over the last several months, and it's really hitting the ground, and it's growing legs, and it's I can't say enough great things about it. We're super excited for the future of this show.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We are
Putting
too.
a lot of work into it, and we're hoping that somebody sees it and says, "Oh, wait, this is way too good for YouTube. This needs to be on TV."
Yes.
We'll call them.
It'll happen. It'll come.
That would be the next step, the next evolution.
All the TV networks need to get their stuff together because it's been hard for everybody lately.
Yeah, we need something fresh that isn't jump scares and.
You're always seeing the same stuff over and over again. It's just like, okay, how many times can we watch this? Yeah. It gets boring.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would just say thank you guys for having us on, and
Thank you.
anyone listening that's
It's a
supporting
pleasure.
us. Thank you. We appreciate
Definitely
it.
tune in because it's worthwhile.
Yeah. And subscribe to the VHX.
And buy Daryl's book.
And buy Daryl's book. And buy the t-shirts. Oh, look, there was Jeff for a second.
Showing face.
He looks a little scary.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Our VHX channel is myhauntedhq.vhx.tv. We have all our bonus content, additional content, live cameras from the UK, and hopefully in the future live cameras from us. So subscribe to that, and you can get all the content.
I am.
Okay, so we can say we knew you when.
We knew you
I
went.
appreciate it.
And also vice versa, because we're gonna.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's do it together.
Yep.
We got it. Pair unity.
There you go.
Right.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Thank you.
It's good to see you, Jeff.
Look at Daryl.
Is he naked?
No, it's his hand. I'm still recording because we still have you here, but that's funny.
That's cute. That was good.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, they stayed a little bit longer than they were going to, but that's good. But I definitely think if you guys, whenever you want to come back, we're there.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I'd like to interview you.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
I feel like we could do some fun
Sure.
stuff.
Yeah.
So,
That would be good.
Yeah.
and I'm always looking for ghost hunting buddies for the places that
Pennhurst.
she doesn't want to go to.
If you're going to Pennhurst,
Oh, yeah.
I'm down. I'm
Yeah.
always down for Pennhurst. It's-
Awesome. I want to go back to
I agree with
I
Matt.
wouldn't mind going in for a short, but I just don't want to do overnights and
Yeah.
things like that.
It does get a little intense in there.
Yeah.
I've been there 2 or 3 times, and it's just like each time, like the first time was the Devon basement experience.
That's wild.
It was insane. I've never experienced
So
anything like that.
Trans-Allegheny, you've been to Trans-Allegheny too. Did you have experiences there?
Yeah, that was another crazy one. At one point, I'm sure someone from DSGI told you how it's set up with the long hallways, and it's kind of this middle section. So we were at the end of the hallway, and you can see down, it's dark, but you see the doorway lit into the other room, main kind of section. And we were just sitting there, just kind of looking down the hall, and I'm looking, and I see the doorway, and it looks like someone's like peeking out, like frantically, like fast, and you almost see like hair.
Wow.
Like a woman, just a black kind of figure with like just looking out past the doorway. And the whole time I'm like rubbing my eyes and like,
am I
seeing that?
Yeah.
And I just figured it's my eyes messing with me. But then Christina says on DSGI, I've been watching this thing peeking out this doorway this whole time. I'm like,
Really?
oh my God, I've been seeing this
Yes.
too.
You've been seeing it too?
Yeah, so.
It's
I mean, that
there's
was-
some synchronicities, right?
Well, that was us with Fort Mifflin and the thing walking back and forth. I was like, because it's dark, but it's not dark, and it's inside, but the doorway is open, so you get sunlight coming in, and so like the door frame over on the one side was kind of lit up a little bit more, like the ambient light had it highlighted just a bit, and you would see it, and then it would like black out, and then it would black out again, and black out again, and I was like, are you guys seeing this? And the two of the people were there, and they're like, we see this, and
That
I'm
would
like,
have been a good time to have the grid.
I know, well,
Is it good?
we had seen somebody that was there before us had the grid up, and I was like, on that wall, and I was like, that's probably why they had the grid up there. So we need more equipment.
Do you use a grid? Do you ever?
Yeah, we just got a GS2 laser grid. Actually, our like probably our biggest supporters, Josh and Landon, they've been to every single event. They gifted us a GS2 laser grid.
Nice.
And that was crazy. They've been awesome.
Yeah.
But that one's really good. It detects temperature as well, so if anything crosses through the grid, you'll see the temperature change. You know, if it's like one of us, it'll be hot, orange. If it's cold, it'll be blue. I think I've only seen one time at the fort was when I saw something pass through it.
Yeah.
It was in the enlisted barracks, which is above like the mess hall. I think this was the same night it was Fred's laser grid. It actually moved. The whole grid moved. I missed that. I didn't see.
Yeah.
But that same night, I think a whole group of us saw something pass through it at the end, like a 3 foot tall like kid.
Yeah.
Which is weird because that's where soldiers would sleep up there.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I use it all the time. It's just that was the only time I've seen something actually break it for sure.
Well, on DSGI, in the vault, there's one video of, it was Andy's video. And I think that might have been Bellevue.
That's a private location.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I've been there.
Yeah.
That place is really good.
Yeah.
That's a really, really cool place. Really active. Been there before. I wasn't there that night though.
Yeah.
I think.
We had the grid in the basement at Rockwood.
Yeah. They say that there's a portal there.
Yeah, you can walk down the hallway and you go through the solid thing.
And then you can't see.
And
It's like a thermal can, and so there's like this purple area.
Yeah.
And you go through it and you pass the purple area and
then you can't get detected heat.
right.
That's so weird.
It is.
I've never seen that.
It's very strange. I don't know where they have it up. They might have. I don't know if they have it up anywhere. I know that we saw it when we were watching the video.
Did they try 2 different cameras?
We were down that.
I think it's been like multiple times.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
They said they always set it up, I think, when they do the tours down in the basement because it's.
Yeah.
And people feel like when they walk down there that
Yeah.
they felt like they were.
Yeah, Riley went through it, and she was like, "That's interesting."
You can feel the
That's what I
difference.
do.
Like, it
Yeah.
feels like you're going through a portal.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. I heard something. My friend, I did an episode with Kitty, who lives up here, and she had done a investigation at the Rampart Murder House in New Orleans. That one guy that killed his girlfriend and disemboweled. No.
Cut her up.
Dismembered. There's the word. Dismembered.
Okay.
Yeah, that was, and she said like, you go up the stairs and it's like static. Like you feel that heaviness when you walk up and you like know something's gonna happen.
You can feel it.
Yeah.
I wish I was more sensitive.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not. I wish I was, but.
Yeah, I'm not either. I just don't really.
I try to
feel a
open
lot.
myself up, but I feel like I'm closed off or
I
something.
mean, I get cold and I can feel, like, when we were in My Haunted, in the manor, it
She has a lot more
definitely
than she
came through me, because I could feel it envelop me, and then it was gone. And that kind of thing, you can't, I wasn't even thinking about it, so it wasn't like, because your mind can play tricks, and it was something I wouldn't have expected to happen. What was that,
Yeah, absolutely.
What was that?
This past weekend, it felt like my leg was getting touched. I've never really gotten touched.
Really?
But yeah, so when you get touched, it almost feels like spider webs on you. And that's what it felt like for like the longest period of time, up and down my leg.
Yeah.
Like I said,
You were wearing shorts?
Yeah, we were doing double blind Estes, and I was saying that, I was like, I don't know what's going on. It feels like I'm getting touched.
Are you trying to tell me about the Stanley Hotel?
No, I was thinking about last Wednesday Sunday when we were here. So we were recording upstairs. We were telling ghost stories for the podcast. And so
Our 25th episode.
So I had some stories that I was relating that I had read, and she was having some stories. It had to do with California picking grapes.
When you sort wine, when you sort the grapes, it's like on this big conveyor and you're like picking stuff out.
And
like
this is her personal story. We sort of diverted from the ghost stories and we were talking about.
I was like, so this one time, and so I was talking about when I did it for a day because I will never do it again because so many spiders and earwigs in the grapes. Like they're.
What's an earwig?
Earwigs are like, they're like this big and they have pinchers on their butts.
Oh, God.
Yeah, they've got these little.
Like a beetle almost.
Yeah, like a long beetle with pinchers on its butt. There was another one. There was one in the house the other day too. In my apartment.
Your house?
In my apartment, on the ceiling. I think right after
After you got home?
No. Yes. I forgot to tell you.
Way.
I can't remember. No, and I was like, Rich, oh my God, this thing.
So they're usually you see them outside. Once in a while you see them inside. They're really not around. They don't just kind of wander around,
They don't want to hang out with people. They're like, I had a swimsuit when I was a kid that it was in a box in the attic and I went in to try it on to see if it still fit. And there was one in there and it got pinched. And so that's why I hate it. And
that's traumatic.
It's very traumatic.
You'll remember the rest of your life.
Yeah. And spiders.
So that's, she was talking about the grapes and sorting them in.
And getting bit and pinched and I had them all over me and I was like, it's disgusting.
And
I was sitting there talking and all of a sudden an earwig drops on my shoulder and I'm like, I freak out.
Screaming. I mean,
I get up and I'm like, and like I was like, it's on me.
And I thought, I was laughing so hard.
It's in my pocket.
She had been just talking about it.
I was wearing overalls, so I'm like, it's in my pants. I'm gonna take my pants off, and like I started unbuckling them, and I'm like, and then I see it on the floor.
It's on the floor.
And Mom stepped on it and killed it.
And I picked it up in a tissue and it was really an earwig.
It really was.
Why did it come in off the ceiling? I mean, this is the type of
as I'm talking.
Its ears
as you're talking about it.
Heard you talking some shit.
I angered the earwig gods on that one.
I'm just glad you didn't invoke Evoke.
Invoke an earwig, because then I'd have
No,
picture
wolf
butts.
spider,
Now I'm
because
scared.
that would have,
Now I'm
Oh,
scared
yeah.
that we're talking about them.
I would be just,
Yeah.
if it had been wolf spiders that dropped off the
Yeah.
ceiling, I would have been out of there and never in this building ever again.
Yeah,
So,
right.
earwigs I can deal with,
No.
but
No.
spiders I
It was
can't.
so it was funny when Jeff had the snake and then I
Oh, yeah.
was like, yeah, like he was like, I'll eat bugs anytime over snakes, and I was like, no, I'd rather hang out with snakes. His face was so funny in that picture. You haven't seen it.
You haven't seen that yet?
It was.
No, not yet.
She's not much on.
It looks like a
social media.
toddler.
He's like,
picture like a 2-year-old picking up a snake. That's what it looks like. Yeah. That's
Like his tongue's out. Like, it was so funny. Yeah. So.
But that was so weird.
It was very bizarre at that exact moment. Like, where would it come from? So they have these.
It's almost like clairvoyant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you knew that.
I
Was
manifested it.
Yeah. Don't ever talk about bugs again.
Do you need more beer?
Yeah. You know.
There's more.
How much? I mean, is it getting late for you? Like,
Yeah, I've
you know what I
gotta
mean?
go, but you can-
Yeah. It's up to you guys.
No. Grab one. That's fine.
Okay.
Well, thanks, Trey. All right, guys. Well, thanks for being a part of the show and hanging out. And
We'll see you soon.
Bye.
bye.
Love it.
Thank you for listening. If you have a story you'd like to tell us, please email us at onlyghostsinthebuilding@gmail.com, or you can find us on Instagram at Only Ghosts in the Building or Facebook at Only Ghosts in the Building. We also have a Patreon at patreon.com/onlyghosts-in-the-building, and you can come join for free, or we have a $1 a month tier or a $5 a month tier. Come check us out. We have a lot of good content there. I really enjoy the app and all its capabilities. You can listen, you can watch, and you can read and check out all our content right on there. We have merch for sale at onlyghostinthebuilding.com. There's some really cute stuff, including kids' clothes. Go check that out. Thank you so much. We will see you soon.
Bye. 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 Bye.